Welcome out. It's your boy Sdot Pdot, Sdot Pelt, Shedrick Pelt, however you want to do it. Rocking with In Tune with tmill at the Maitland Conservatory. We about to get down, do some business, talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Get with us.
Tmill, come out and play.
Play it loud.
We're changing the status quo one voice at a time, through music, edutainment, children, and awareness. We're progressing and preserving the culture through real conversations with people who've had real success. Multicultural artists and musicians, models, entrepreneurs, innovators, and activists. This is Paradox East, and you are in tune with tmill. Powered by the maitlandconservatory.org.
Thank you for listening to In Tune with tmill.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of In Tune with tmill. I'm your host, tmill, live from the Rocket City. You will now be encouraged and entertained. Nothing will change until you change something. We are here to change the status quo and think out loud with those that are making the difference, those that are professional at what they do. And today, on this episode, his motto is transitioning through life with a bold new approach. On this episode of In Tune with tmill, my guest is a freelance designer. No, freelance doesn't mean that he does it for free. All right? Freelance designer, a creative director of photography and videography. His experience is extensive, ranging from collaborations with musicians and small business owners to international NGOs and nationwide corporate entities. He strives not only to create bold, outside-the-box driven marketing materials, but he's also learning and growing within the art community. As an established photographer, his career is included working with well-known institutions such as the Oxfam America and Johns Hopkins University, yes, that one, to photograph events, conferences, and portraits. As the creative director for multiple musicians, he leads the conceptualization and design of all promotional and marketing materials, including merchandising, branding, social media. He's also directed, filmed, and produced numerous videos for musicians and product promotions. He is changing the status quo through his art, through his approach, and creativity. He's thinking out loud through his photography, his style, and videos. Ladies and gentlemen, In Tune with tmill, Sdot Pdot is In Tune with tmill. What's going on, bro? Hey.
Hey, bless up to my man tmill, man. It's good to have you. Good to
be here with you, man.
Good to have me in here with you, man.
Hey, man, it's
a
pleasure.
I know you do it for the street, and I know you've done it for the city.
Yeah.
And you've always supported me this whole year. So 2017, you put my name out there too. So man, much love, homie.
No doubt, man.
Absolutely.
And again, we do this. The reason why we do this show, you guys, is because there's nowhere there's very few places where we can control our own media.
Okay.
Where we can control our narrative.
Mhm.
You know, this is a show that everyone can listen to. You can get your children around. You can listen to. You can learn something as well. And it's not compromised.
Right.
You know, it's
Okay.
not biased. It's unbiased. And again, it's to highlight those like yourself that are changing the status quo. So that's what we're here for, and to celebrate that. So all you guys watching live, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether y'all watching live on sdotpdotmedia, or you're watching live on Twitter, make sure you drop your comments and your questions. We're gonna be talking to a professional today, all right?
Hey.
You know, we got so many cameras in here, we don't even know which one to
Hey,
look
paparazzi. I don't even like being on this side of the camera.
at. You know what I'm saying?
Put me behind the camera.
So how does that feel also now, also being on the other side? Because I imagine that you, again, you're so incognito, and a lot of creatives, they are, you know, introverts. They are what they call a recluse.
Mhm.
You know, they like to be to themselves and create. But how does that feel sometimes? Because again, you have to be recognized. So how does that feel?
Well, you know, like creating from the other side is easy because I can take my time and I can explore the route that I'm taking with certain artists.
Mhm.
You know, so when it comes to me in front of the camera, I feel their pain sometimes because everything comes at you so fast.
Yeah, it's
so I
pressure.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So it's a good experience to be on this side, but for me, I like to take my time and I like to cultivate the moment.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So so that's just my style of working with artists and working on projects, is actually digging deep under the surface and really getting into the bones of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just see the flash on top. I want to know what made the flash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's the spark?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even with my photography and my video work, it's all about sharing a part of the soul of the person I'm working with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not
So-
taking y'all to church right now. Y'all better get your notebooks out. If you're listening or you're watching the video, you're watching live, take some notes, relax and take notes like the late, great, notorious B.I.G. would say, because you're going to be fortunate enough to be able to take down some notes and learn something. Now, Sdot, where does that name come from? Sdot Pdot.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. My name is Shyne Pelt. My initial is Sdot Pdot. So there you go. There it is. I kept it simple. Shout out my mom for that, because she hooked me up with that. You know.
Shout out to mom. You know what I'm saying? You got to break off a check.
I'm gonna
you
say,
you got to. Mom need royalties.
Mom Dukes is getting a check. She will get a check. She will probably be the first one to get a check.
There you go.
After I get my check.
Right.
After I get my check.
All right, because he got to make sure it clears the bank, mom.
Right.
You got to make sure it's good. You
Right.
can't just get the
Right,
bounce.
right.
You don't want those problems. Now, you're fortunate enough to have experienced something that children nowadays are seeing less of, and black and brown children especially. You grew up in a military home where your father was serving for 32 years. Shout out to Pops.
Mhm.
What do you remember most about that, and what elements have remained with you to this day, growing up in a military home and seeing that?
You know, people ask me like, yo, why didn't you go into the military? And I tell them point blank, like, bro, I've been in the military. We ran a military household. Everything about my day to day was military. You know what I'm saying? My pops used to give us an option, and it wasn't really even an option. He was like, okay, you can either wake up and you need to cut the grass, but here's your options. You can wake up at 6 a.m. before you go to school and cut the grass, or you can cut the grass after school. Now, the problem with after school was I wanted to hang with the homies.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it was 100-degree Alabama heat after school. You know what I'm saying? So he really didn't give me an option. So the only option left was to wake up at 6 a.m. and cut the yard. You know what I'm saying?
While it's still cool outside.
While it was still cool outside. So like we ran a very military household, but it was very structured, and it was hard sometimes as a young man, as a growing A-type personality, as an alpha, quote unquote alpha male type personality. We did butt heads quite a bit in high school coming up, when I wanted to spread my own wings. And I really didn't understand him. I didn't understand the lessons he was giving, the jewels he was dropping on me every day, because I wanted to go find my own jewels. You know, I didn't want to take jewels from him. I had a lot of like ego and pride as a young man, you know, which which in some ways is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it helps build your strength. It helps build your stamina, your resolve. You know what I'm saying? Toughens you up a little bit when you're out there speaking for yourself. And now years later, every single argument we ever had, every single jewel he dropped on me, I completely understand. And it all makes so much sense.
It does. You never realize it until they say hindsight is 20/20. So you never realize it, and that's what I explain a lot of times. Even to my wife, she's like, "You being too hard on the kids." Look, it's a man thing. It's a man thing. You just gotta, just work through it. Because again, it's gonna come back. And if we think about it, a lot of the people that were the hardest on us. Oh, we hated them while we were coming up.
Right.
We hated them to death.
Of course.
But when we got older, we're like, you know what? I need to go back and, if we were fortunate enough and if we were kind enough, we would go back and say, you know what? I appreciate that.
Right.
Or I appreciate what you did. You're being hard on me or whatever. And hopefully, if you haven't done that, make sure you go back and do that so they don't grow old being guilty like, man, I don't know what happened to that. Right. I was so hard on them. I don't know what happened to that kid.
Hey, I thank my pops every day, man. And I show him so much respect now because I do know what he was going through as a young 20-year-old man raising two knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying, trying to feed the family, go to war. My pops throughout his entire military career, he was gone from us like 9 years.
What was he doing in the military? What did he do?
He started off in infantry.
Okay.
When we were out in Fort Riley, Kansas. Then he was once he got into his higher ranks, he was overseeing the delivery of boots and bullets to the front line. Wow. So he was making sure all the troops got what they needed on the front line.
Yeah, break that down, infantry, because kids don't Google down there.
Infantry is pretty much it's the first line of defense.
Yeah.
First one's in, first one out. He was part of the Big Red One, which again, first people in. It went Marines, Big Red One, then everybody else followed. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm sure he was in some scary moments and some scary places.
No doubt.
And but thankfully the universe kept him with us.
Absolutely.
But touching back on growing up with a tough father and learning from him, it puts in perspective young men who don't have a father in their life. And it tugs at my heart because I really know that it's hard to gain an understanding of what life is and how to approach life if you don't have somebody there to really take you by the shoulders and shake you a little bit and wake you up. You know what I'm saying? Because mothers can't always do that. Mothers generally want to be nurtured. They want to love you. My mother is a hard woman sometimes, but she's a lover at the base of it. And she got a nasty right hook. But she got a very gentle hug at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So, without Jazzy D, shout out Donnell, I wouldn't be who I was. And without him actually stepping back and letting me figure out who I was, which is part of the thing too. Like, he didn't always just push his agenda on me. He also stepped back and let me create my own agenda once he gave me the jewels. He's like, okay, I've given you what I need to give you. Now I'm gonna take a step back and let you cultivate, your life on your own. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a man, and you need to go out there and make your own lane. You know what I'm saying?
And look what is coming of that.
And I appreciate him every day for that. Word.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, also something I didn't know about, and because I'm trying to keep up with movements and things that help progress, injustices and things like that. The old idea. I wish I would have gotten into it earlier. But Oxfam is a global movement of people working to end the injustice of poverty. I thought Oxfam was a burger joint, so I didn't know. So I had to look it up.
Okay.
But Oxfam works to end the injustice of poverty. So how does photography and imagery and videos help to end the injustice of poverty?
Well, you know what? So much poverty goes under the radar and it's in the dark. You know what I'm saying? So much of the injustice of poverty is in the dark. You don't really see. Okay, this community's not eating. Right. But once you see a little baby in dirty diapers for 3 days straight, you see the imagery of that, then it becomes close to home. You know what I'm saying? When you walk in somebody's house and there's old gallon of milk and an old jar of pickles in their fridge, and that's all they got. You know what I'm saying? That's when things get real. When you walk into a neighborhood and you see old broke down cars, or a home that's got a hole in the roof and got a tarp over it. You know what I'm saying? It hits home. So I would like to have more opportunity to witness those and also document those situations, so people can understand, like, poverty is not just a word. Poverty is an emotion. Poverty is like a life. Poverty is real. You know what I'm saying? And poverty doesn't stop because you gave $5. Poverty doesn't stop because there's a government program implemented. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're gonna give me government cheese and government milk. Well, that government cheese you're giving me is killing my kid at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So really, you're not helping me out. So it's like, and I've been fortunate enough not to live in directly in poverty. But my mother is from one of the poorest counties in Arkansas, Forest City. Shout out Forest City. Shout out Forest City for sure. Everybody in Forest City, shout out. And then my father is from one of the poorest counties in Alabama. So, I've witnessed what it's like to be in a community where there's absolutely no money to do anything, no money for education, no money for new clothes, no money for conservatories, no hope for a way out. You know what I'm saying? But even with that, the sun still shines in the community. Because I can remember as a kid, walking to the store, and there was a crackhead that went to school. My mother would actually watch us make it safely to the store. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't preying on us. He knew my mother. They went to school together. He was on hard times, but that, it doesn't mean he was trying to take advantage of us. He would watch us and make sure we made it to the store, and that was part of the community. That was the beautiful part of the impoverished community.
His name was Leroy.
I think it was Leroy. It was shout out to Leroy, man. Shout out to all the Leroys.
There's a Leroy in every
Shout out to every Leroy. It said Leroy everywhere. Right.
About something.
Yeah, right. So there's beautiful things and there's also negative things, but going back to your question, it needs to be, documenting these situations really makes it real.
Absolutely, man. If you guys didn't know, you can wax your whole car and your floor with government cheese.
Man,
Grease
what?
on it,
What?
So yeah.
What?
So those home remedies when you're trying to look for other things to use with it.
Yeah.
Just take a whole block out.
Just take a whole block and rub it on it. Rub it on it.
It's like coconut oil. You got eczema, rub some government cheese on it.
Word. Brush with it. Whatever you gotta do with it, baby.
All day.
Put it in the whip.
I had butter waves with some government cheese.
Yeah, butter waves.
Just butter waves.
Cheese waves.
Cheesy waves.
Cheesy waves.
Cheesy waves.
Word.
Now, what can a company expect when working with Sdot Pdot Media? What can they expect from you that they may not get elsewhere? And I ask that question a lot of times, and maybe some people don't understand it, but what I mean is what makes you unique and separates you, that God-given gift, that God-given thing that only you have, that makes you Sdot and not me being Sdot. There's a difference. Because you have something that I don't. Doesn't make either one of us any better or worse than the other. Okay. But there's something that God gave you that you perform with, that when a company hires you, that they get that and they can't get it from anyone else because there's only one Sdot.
Right.
So when a company, like whoever, calls you and wants to work with you, what can they expect working with Sdot Media?
The biggest thing for me is, and what's led me to a lot of work is drive. I'm a very driven person, and although I'm not like the most talented person, when you look at somebody that say went to art school for 4 years, something like that, I'm gonna get the job done. At the end of the day, you're gonna get your work delivered. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hang around the house, sleep, leaning on my education, because I don't have any. So I know I need to work harder than those guys do to keep up. So first, you're gonna get a very driven person that's gonna focus on your project to get it done when you need it done. You know, I noticed a lot of artists, and I've met a lot of artists, like amazing artists in New York. I lived in New York for all 7, 8 years. I lived in Harlem. Shout out Harlem, man. Shout out Harlem, East Harlem. Shout out.
Absolutely.
So I lived in Harlem for almost 8 years, and
I just watched Harlem Nights the other night too. My son was actually watching.
that's the old Harlem. That's the old Harlem. Shout out to that Harlem. I don't know that Harlem, but that's a beautiful Harlem too. I wish I would have witnessed it.
Absolutely.
But I met so many talented, extremely talented artists that weren't willing to get out of the bed every day and work. You know what I'm saying? They just wanted to wait for everything to come to them based on the fact that they went to a 4-year art school. You know what I'm saying? So with me, you're gonna get driven, you know. And second, you're gonna get an opportunity to work with somebody that is genuinely interested in what you do. You know what I'm saying? I generally want to see what the artist has to offer, and I genuinely want to create something personal for that artist. You know what I'm saying? Even if it wasn't something that was just hitting the mainstream or hitting the web, I want to create something that when you look back in 15 years, you want to still smile and be like, that was a moment. That was a moment in my life. And that's why I focus a lot on upcoming artists and upcoming opportunities. I love, like, I go to South by Southwest in Texas, and you know, I'm not interested in the Kendrick Lamars. I'm not interested in the big names.
Right.
That doesn't interest me.
Right.
I want to see the guy who's it's his first year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want the guy that's so raw that he's like, this is his first time on stage really in front of people. Because I want to document his evolution. You know what I'm saying? There's artists, well, I mean, and even touching on Kendrick Lamar, I shot Kendrick Lamar, a photo of Kendrick Lamar, probably his first South by back in 2011, before he hit big, baby face, thin little guy, rocking the stage.
Wow.
Absolutely rocking the stage. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, look at him, you know, 5, 6, 7 years later, and to see what he is now. If I could get that photo to him, he would be like, man, I remember that day.
Yep.
I was scared as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing in front of 10,000 people for the first time. You know what I'm saying? And I've never even seen an image from that show even promoted out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know, that's another part of what I offer. And then I also offer is like in my tagline, man. You know, I got a bold new approach. I'm gonna try things different. I'm gonna try things new. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to make things look out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be cookie cutter. I don't want to offer what you offer. And it's easy to get in that mode, like as a young artist, like wanting to copy what the bigger guys are doing. And I've been there.
Right.
But I also know I've gained more success by cultivating my own style. You know what I'm saying? If somebody looks at my art and they're like, "No, man, it don't look right." I'm like, perfect. It looks good. You know what I'm saying? I know it looks good. If you say it don't look right, then I know it looks good. You know what I'm saying? Because people are so used to just like, yo, it don't look like this guy's or whatever.
You want it to look different.
You want it to look. You want to separate yourself.
You want it to be foreign. You want it to be.
You want to separate
familiar,
yourself.
You know, you
Absolutely.
want it to be unfamiliar. Like, I've never seen this before.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, tell us also about, now, if you guys are watching, if you have any questions, wherever you're watching from, make sure you drop in some of the comments. I was on Twitter earlier, Facebook. I was neglecting y'all a little bit. I was a little salty because I was in Facebook jail, so I forgot to go live on Facebook Live. So now we live on Facebook also. So wherever you guys are watching, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comment section. All right, and if you're watching this after, go ahead and drop the question still, and we'll get it to Sdot and make sure that he gets that question answered for you. All right.
Shout out.
So also now this is another conversation that I have with artists. So we got to keep it a buck. We're going to keep it all the way funky with y'all.
Let's do it.
Now, why do artists spend, we know the answer to this, by the way, but why do artists spend more money on their lifestyle than their business? You know, when they spend more money on food and drugs and clothes and jewelry than they do on studio time, you know, or marketing or development. You know, what is the purpose, you know, in investing in development or in a creative team like Sdot Pdot? You know, why is that important to be successful as an artist? Because there's a lot of indie artists, and you are working with a lot of upcoming artists and established artists. But why is that important to invest in your creative development and not just the studio? You know, because they put all the money into that, and then it's like, okay, I'm not gonna pay for album covers, I'm not gonna pay for a video, or it's like they'll put the least amount of money into that.
Right.
And there's some artists that don't. Shout out to the artists that don't. But why do artists do that?
I mean, you know, everybody perception in some way is reality, right? You know, so everybody wants to be perceived as on top already, even if they're really not. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's worse if you're perceived as being on top and then you don't follow all the way through. It doesn't saturate your campaign. You know what I'm saying? So if you out with your Gucci belt on, you got your nice jacket, you know, you look big, you look bigger than what you are, and then you show up with a bootleg album cover, it doesn't fit right. It don't fit right, you know what I'm saying? And I think people are more and more starting to appreciate the value of a proper campaign. You know what I'm saying? And willing to put that money out there, but still people haven't caught up yet, especially in like a smaller market. You know, even in New York, DC, places like that, they understand like, okay, you gotta have a complete package before you just jump out there. Absolutely. But a smaller market like Alabama people may not have caught on to that, or may not pick up on that understanding, and I think sometimes it sets you back because, you know, people will glass right over your program if it don't look right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you hand me a CD and there's a Sharpie written on the front.
It's a Sharpie written.
Chances are I'm not gonna listen to it.
You know,
it could be Pop coming back in 2018, and I wouldn't listen to it because it's got a Sharpie written.
Right. So it's I mean, and I get it. You know, if you don't have like some big budget, you do have to pick and choose. But you know, even for myself, when I'm branding myself, you know, I want to make sure that my infrastructure is proper before I get out there and glam myself up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
now, and I also think that, you know, if I think like creating multiple revenue streams helps with that. Shout out to Holloway.
Hey, shout out Holloway's ideas, baby. I got ideas.
I got ideas, baby. The Harlem Shake, you know.
I got ideas. Shiny suit. Shiny suit.
Speaking of artist development, Holloway's idea. But I think creating multiple revenue streams like merchandise, performing, licensing, I think are some of the ways that artists can.
You know what I'm saying? Not just go to a hip hop show and shoot an event. You know, not just shoot a portrait. You know, I shoot weddings. Like you said, I shoot events. You know, I'll shoot anything. And not only will I shoot anything, I've made myself proficient in all of it, across the board. No matter what you throw at me, what kind of photography you need, it'll never catch me off guard or get me shook. So young photographers or young media artists, diversify your skill set. You know what I'm saying? Be able to do everything. It's cool to want to be Young Thug's tour photographer. That's cool shit. That's right. Cool. But you also need to be able to jump in there and do a wedding if you need to get some bread. Absolutely. If you need that new lens, you need to be able to jump in there and be able to do a cocktail menu at a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? So that's one piece of perspective that will help a young artist out. Just make sure you cover all your bases, so when people reach out to you, they don't have to go nowhere else. And I learned that helped me quite a bit, because without diversifying myself, there's a lot of come up I wouldn't be able to have when I'm like shopping for equipment or shopping for a flight, or you know what I'm saying, something like shopping for you know, a Facebook post to be monetized or something like that of that nature. So and a lot of that, touching on the sacrifice side, is, you know, some people aren't willing to sacrifice. And shout out Eric Thomas, man. He talks a lot about sacrifice when it's like, you know, people don't want to move away from their family, you know, because they're gonna miss their family. You know what I'm saying? But you need to sacrifice time. You don't need to, but it's okay to sacrifice time with your family if you're going to get it. I'm sure they're going to understand. It's okay to sacrifice sleep. It's okay to miss the football game that week. It's okay to not go hang with the homies that week. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to stay in the house for 7 days straight working on your craft. You know what I'm saying? What the hell said Ben? People like, yo, we ain't seen you in months. I'm like, man, you know, I've been locked away.
Yeah.
I'm in the cave right now.
You got something to show for
I'm in the cave right now all day. You look at my Instagram, I turn out so much content. Content all day. I'm on content. You know what I'm saying? Last 2 weeks ago, I'm shooting a choir that my girl's in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm always out in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. Sacrifice, guys. Always be willing to sacrifice and be open to sacrifice, because it's going to be part of your come up. Nobody has ever been successful without sacrifice. If you ain't sacrificed, you ain't successful, and that's guaranteed 100%. If you don't sacrifice, you ain't gonna be successful. So think about it.
And again, it goes back to the saying, you know, you get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
You know, it's just like, you know, sowing a garden or whatever. Like, whatever you put into it, the time you put into it, the money you put into it, the sacrifice you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the art vacancy, you know, because you also worked on a project, one of the many projects that you've worked on. And I want people to make sure that they go to your Instagram, check out your work, and then also everywhere that they can check it out. But I found just the story that you told through that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I found that to be pretty interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
what is the art vacancy?
Art Vacancy is a art collective out of Brooklyn, New York. Shout out Song. She is a young lady that helps run that team of people around that, and what
She sound classy. A name like that sound classy.
She is a very classy young lady, and she's very art driven, and she's very creative herself as an artist. So it's a good group, and she's not the only one. There's a mix of people involved in that. But it's artist collective out of Brooklyn, and what they do is they find unique artists that are early in their career to highlight them. And just because they're early in the career doesn't mean they're not talented. These are super talented artists.
Yeah.
Like I'm envious and jealous of their skills. Like, man, they got some mediums that illustrators, painters, whatever, that are amazing artists. You know what I'm saying? So they actually reached out. I actually reached out to them. Then they reached back to me for an opportunity to be involved in their when was that? It may have been their fall exhibition. I was part of a video recap, a video interview, whatever you want to call it. And you know, the point I drove home during my portion of it was, you know, the question I asked was, you know, is everything art? Are we all artists? You know what I'm saying? They asked me what defines an artist, and my rebuttal is everything art? Everything that anybody does art? Is the trash man, the way he works his route, can that be art? You know what I'm saying? When he gets into it and he's slang a bag, the way he slang a bag, maybe he do a little shimmy after he slang the bag, you know, rock with it or something. He add a little art to it, you know what I'm saying? The dentist, he in your mouth, he got his little tweezer, washing it up, you know what I'm saying? Right. The dentist is an artist. He's creating art from what he does. And my question is, everything is can be perceived as art. You know what I'm saying? We are all artists. You know, we're all creative in what we do. So don't ever feel like what you're doing is uninteresting or uncreative, because there is a creative realm in what you do somewhere, a creative tone somewhere in what you do. And that's what I wanted to highlight, so that people don't feel like, man, you know, well, you know, what I do ain't that interesting. Yeah, it is.
And maybe I don't know how many billion people in the world. Somebody's interested. And maybe it just takes you being aware of what you're doing to pull out that uninteresting tone of what you do. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody doing anything. Absolutely. Make some money. Shout out to the garbage man. Shout out to the garbage man. Yo, the garbage men get paid. Really shout out to them, because they really get bucks. Absolutely. They really get bucks. So no front on that. If now think about this, if you know the old saying how it goes, if you knew then what you know now, those that have helped you along the way, the things that nobody told you and you learned on your own, the things that harmed the craft of photography and being creative, and the things that help the craft. We're going to talk about some cheat codes. You know, what are a couple things or some jewels that all the serious aspiring photographers should know? You know, the artists that are listening that are aspiring to do what you do. What are some of those things when you think of all that you can give? You can't give them all of them.
Right,
you know,
right.
Just a couple of them. You know, just a couple to get them started. You know.
One thing that I push, and I don't know, I like to use this quote and say it's mine, but maybe somebody made it up before me, but I'm gonna say it's mine, so I'm gonna copyright that. If you use it, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah.
Embrace those that embrace you, because I spent so much time chasing people that were uninterested in me. You know what I'm saying? And it slowed me down so much.
Yeah.
And then when I understood that, and I looked at the people that were actually interested and were actually embracing me, my whole network blew up even bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the people that are truly interested in what you do should get the majority of your love, if not all.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because if they're uninterested, and this doesn't matter what level they're on, whether they're a starter, whether they're a veteran, if they're embracing you, you should always embrace them. You know what I'm saying? And don't wear yourself out chasing people that are uninterested in what you do. Because that's gonna get you nowhere. It's gonna frustrate you. It's gonna slow you down, and then it's gonna turn the people off because they're gonna be looking at you like, "Yo, I show you love, man. I'm liking your picture every day. I'm retweeting you, and all you want to do is chase Young Thug." I keep saying Young Thug, but you know that's the only one. That's just because he's a big. That's just because he's a big artist.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm out here, and you out here just chasing a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna turn them off. So then the people that love you is gonna just continue to shrink till one day you on an island by yourself.
Yeah.
And everybody you chasing is off on the yacht. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So embrace those that embrace you. Get that. I'm gonna get that tatted actually, probably.
Hey, you got to. And again, it means so much because I've heard the same thing. Shout out to Cody G's told me on the many of occasion to again support those that support you. One of the things that it's, and I apply this to being a creative. Don't know if it really means the same, but just a slogan that I've kind of thought about over the years and that I try to apply to being creative is inspiration is impatient. You know, when you got an idea and you can't sleep at night and you get home from work or you get home from something and that idea just hits you like bomb and you're like, man, I hadn't slept in 3 days and this idea hits me. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you gotta move on that idea right then and you can't wait because it's something about those magical moments where it's like, no, this is meant for you to not get this sleep. This is meant right now, what's going on, it's meant for you to put this together, you know, and do this right now.
Get it out there.
A crazy edit idea and it's time for you to go somewhere or something. You may have to put that off to go ahead and be impatient and get it done. Or you working with an artist, or you may have an idea, say, yo, y'all, before we leave, let's try this real quick. I just got this crazy idea.
Right.
Let's try this real quick and then get it done. So I think moving, you know, in those moments, it's kind of like, you know, Jedi power, or, you know, something like that, to where inspiration is impatient. Like you said, also support those that support you.
Right.
You know, it makes it easy. Going to that point, I think about when artists come to perform. You know, your big artists, you know, Boosie here every weekend, you know, performing. And then you got local artists that, you know, you can't necessarily fill up a room, you know, with 10 people in them. And they may have great talent, but an artist comes from outside, they get 35 bands and they out, you know, and they don't necessarily show love to everybody like that. So I think it's important, again, to support the artists that you do like. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But we should show the same love to photographers or artists or creatives that are in the city the same way we would do, you know, a bigger artist. Because again, pretty sure, you know, Sdot could use a good 35 bands, you know. Pretty sure he could use,
Stack
you know,
up, stack up. I can use, I can use a one band.
if he right. So
Give
if
me
he's
one
doing an
band,
art
I'm
show
good.
And he's charging $45. We shouldn't look at that like, man, why is he charging $45? But we'll throw $45 to somebody that we'll never see again, that don't know our name, don't care nothing about us.
Yeah, and that's the point. That's in a nutshell. That's definitely the point I was trying to make. And you know, and it also, I think it helps build the community. You know what I'm saying? You want to build a community of people, and you want to put back into a community that you're taken out of. You know what I'm saying? If you're being inspired, Huntsville, like always look at it like this, like in that moment when you come down the ramp, WWE. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you come down the ramp and they about to introduce you, yo, welcome out, welcome. The biggest baller out here right now. You hailing from Huntsville, Alabama. They always tag you with where you're from, right? Right. You know what I'm saying? So that means you taken out. So you need to put something back in. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, support the people that are back in the culture, who are putting in, and it's gonna come back around to you.
Absolutely. And we got a couple questions. Holloway mentions that he asked a question. He says, you mentioned Kendrick Lamar on his come up. Who are some of the independent artists that you had the opportunity to shoot with or work with? I like that.
Damn, shout out Dizzy D.
Yeah.
Shout out Dizzy D. That's my main man. That's one of the main artists I work with.
Dizzy D got busy these last 2 nights. He performed 2 nights in a row, Thursday and Friday. Dizzy D got busy.
No doubt. So I work with him. If anybody knows Main Attractions off the West Coast, Cloud Rap Pioneers. Awesome dudes. Mr. Motherfucking Esquire from Brooklyn, New York. Shout out Esquire. Shout out Gouch. Hey, Holloway's Ideas. I work with my man, and Holloway is one of the dudes that really embraces the culture of the city too. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm here, I always make sure I touch base with my man.
I thought he had a twin brother because I was seeing him everywhere.
Yeah, he everywhere. I think he on some extraterrestrial like teleportation type steez.
Yeah, he got that Jedi flow.
But super sort of human. He's out of Huntsville. Joey Bag of Donuts out of Huntsville. I work with him. Man, you put me on the spot. So I know so many artists that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But now we also got another question. Shout out to Chris. Chris, you were having a good time at the event, man. Shout out to you at the Hip Hop Live. Chris was definitely getting it in. He said, "What project have you worked on that means the most to you, and why?"
I would have to say 2016. I did a portrait series for South by Southwest, right?
Wow.
And the portrait series was all revolve around artists that have made the pilgrimage down to Austin, Texas for the festival on their own dime, on their own come up. You know, and this was the first year that 21 Savage I actually took a portrait of him, and he was part of the series.
Making that sacrifice, eating ramen noodles for a week.
He was probably eating ramen noodles for a week, thugging it out. And I did a portrait series on these guys, just highlighting where they're from, and it showed that, you know, I even had a young lady, Silvana Imam from Sweden. Wow. You know what I'm saying? There was a cat from Brooklyn, New York. There was a cat from Houston, Fat Tony from Houston. Of course, 21 Savage from Atlanta. There was even a Huntsville cat, a couple Huntsville cats. Shout out Raid R. Raid R was part of it. Who else was part of it? Mizzle Money was part of it. So it was about artists that made the pilgrimage on their own dime, and they were upcoming, and they were there just to create their energy.
Why
you know what I'm saying?
Act like it's so hard to get to these places, like they're on the other side of the world. It's just gas money.
You know, it's gas money, but it's also hotel money, and it's also food money, and it also has to be a place where you got some sort of opportunity to connect. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of, you know, the industry seems a little open, but a lot of the industry is still really closed off. You know what I'm saying? Until you wedge that gap. You know, it feels a little closed off. So, you know, if you don't really have a connection, it seems so far away. You know what I'm saying? So I can see why some artists would be discouraged to get down there if they don't really have that foot in the door or whatnot.
And you know, and also now to somewhere like a Texas or Florida or California even, I definitely see that. But I also encourage the artists to use the resources around them. You know, Atlanta is 4 hours away. You know, 2.5, 3 if you're driving with me. You know, but Nashville, Birmingham, Memphis, you know, some of these places that are you can get there and back in a day. You know, take advantage of a lot of those places. There's a huge markets that you can get back and forth to in a day. Just, you know, spend a day on the road, get some gas money, you know, to go back and forth to these places. I wish I remembered the name, but there's a group of artists, and it was out of Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, these rock bands. And this artist, she created this, out of doing it herself. She would, you know, on her social media, she would contact some of her fans and say, yo, I'm gonna be in Portland, or I'm gonna be in Orlando, or I'm gonna be in such and such this week. If you guys would allow me to, you know, me and my band to, you know, kind of lay up with y'all and just, you know, take house with y'all for a little bit because we need somewhere to stay at, we'll make it worth your while. We'll give you a free ticket to the show, we'll get you dinner, we'll do this, we'll do that. And through doing that, her fans just started opening up the doors. Like, yo, when you here, y'all got somewhere to stay. When you here, you got somewhere to stay. And they opened up the doors. She flipped that into a hustle and made a company for these bands to start to connect with their artists to say, okay, when you performing here, this is a spot that you can go stay at. When you performing here, this is a spot that you can go stay at. And now, so bands travel and have places where they can go. Yo, I don't have anywhere to stay in Houston, South by Southwest. Now through this app or through this company that they've created, now you got somewhere you can go stay at. You got places that'll, you know, kind of take care of the lodging and stuff like that, which is great, which is what I would love to see for hip hop if it's not being done already. So there's ways to do it, you know, to get out here to these places. You just got to get a little bit of creative, and also, again, connect with your fans and your fan base. If you got a strong fan base, use your fans, you know, to let them know, like, hey, I need to get out here and do some of this. So definitely,
social media is huge, man. I mean, you don't even need to, like, you know, I get driving to different markets, different cities. You want to do that, but if you don't have the finances to do that, social media is the hub.
Yeah.
Spend an hour on Twitter. Spend an hour on Twitter a day. You know what I'm saying? And you can touch base all over the world.
Absolutely.
You know, easy. So, you know, people should focus a lot on social media. Take advantage of social media because that's what social media is for. You know, it can be a dark place, but at the same time, it's a lot of light in it because it's a lot of people that are looking for their next favorite artist or are looking for, they want to just see they just want to see, like her fans probably just want to see her putting her all into it and knowing that they're actually trying and showing appreciation for any love that's being given to her, and fans generally connect with that.
And again,
you know?
It goes back to like what you said, that she's put out, and the reason why I think this has worked for her and kind of works with bands is she's put out so much great energy that it's come back to her tenfold. That people are feeling comfortable enough to say, yo, you can sleep on my couch. I ain't got a bed, you know, I got a floor. You can sleep on the floor, or you can, you know, do this. So she's made people that comfortable with her to be able to open up their doors and let her do that. Because you're not going, I don't know if you're going to open it up to 21 Savage. I just don't know if you're going to let, you know, come crash at your crib or whatever. But that's what you put out into the world, into the atmosphere, and through your music.
Put out a positive aura, people are going to latch on to that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So, and before we let you go, I got to definitely ask that you...
Don't let me go, man.
You know, oh, no.
Don't let me go. Hold on.
There's in the hip-hop generation, there's people that have used the words and these phrases out of context. We start to throw these words and phrases around, or they take away the true meaning. So I hear a lot of people say thinking outside the box or creating outside the box. What does outside the box mean to you? And is there any respect or room for someone inside the box? We're going to the bottom of the ocean.
Of course. There's always you can connect it. You can connect inside the box with a traditional way of doing things, and there's always respect to traditional things because you have to remember where you came from. So there's always that respect to inside the boxes. The box is always respected. We appreciate the box. You know what I'm saying? But when we want to get outside the box, we want to break the rules. There's no rules. I'm a avid what's the word I'm looking? Somebody give me the word I'm looking for. Let me get a word. I always connect. I'm a habitual rule breaker.
There we go.
There ain't no rules. You know what I'm saying? I drive against traffic on the wrong side of the road every day just to feel like I'm breaking the rules. So
you also got a car insurance company.
And I got
you need to get.
the General. Y'all check out the General. I'm a habitual rule breaker, and I don't think there's no rules. There's no rules for any of this because, the people that have made some of the greatest art in history broke the rules. You know what I'm saying? Went outside the box. Yeah. But then there's great people that stayed in the box and made great music too. You know what I'm saying? But you get somebody like, say you get a group like Queen. Say you got Queen. Yeah. Like you listen to their voice and you like, man, y'all ain't gonna make it. I'm sure somebody was like, yo, y'all gotta change that. Yeah. Y'all gotta change your voice on that. You know what I'm saying? But then they did it, and now probably some of the biggest stars in history. You know what I'm saying? You look at somebody, T-Pain is another one in our history. He brought out the auto tune. People like, what the fuck is an auto tune? Why are you doing your voice like that?
Using something,
even though he wasn't the first, but he was like in our generation to break that outside the box. You know what I'm saying? So
think about somebody like Prince. With the way he does his drums.
Prince broke the rules with the way he dressed. Yeah, he was the man, and he was wearing women's clothes. Yeah, and he was the man. Yeah. So break the rules. There's no rules. All artists break every rule you can. If it doesn't get you locked up, break that rule, please. But don't tell them I said break the rule. If it's a bad rule.
Anything that we should know about, any upcoming events, anything that we should look out for coming from Sdot?
You know what? Every day is something different, man. Just stay locked to my social media.
Where can they find you at?
You can find me at sdotpdotmedia on all social medias. Twitter @sdotpdot, sdotpdot. But like I said, I'm always creating content, man. Every day is creating content. Even today, I'm sitting right now. You're gonna see some posts from this interview. So, again, I got Texas in March. There may be some international trips later on this year. Maybe trying to go out west. There's gonna be more work coming with Mr. Motherfucking Esquire. So shout out to that. Definitely a ton of work with Dizzy D. So make sure y'all stay locked to Dizzy D 256.
Absolutely.
What else we got? Yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna be something every day is coming. So y'all just stay locked, please.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, and if you guys, again, if you have any questions, if you're listening to this, if you're watching, wherever you're watching live, we got 9 cameras in here and 3 people. Mm-hmm. So make sure you
paparazzi. What's that paparazzi song? How'd that go? How did paparazzi song?
They ain't gonna give us any royalties. We ain't even gonna sing.
Okay, all right, we ain't gonna sing.
Yeah, so they ain't gonna pay for us. Then
I'm just gonna say
shut us down, and then I'll be back in Facebook
jail.
You'll
be back in jail.
I'll be back in Facebook jail.
Yo, free tmill. Free tmill.
That's what I'm talking about. I need to get them a new. If there's a Monopoly game out there with a free Facebook jail, get out of jail free card.
Right.
That's what I need.
Right.
That's what somebody needs to create.
Right.
All right. If y'all have any questions, make sure you hit up Sdot Pdot. If you're looking to work with him, make sure you guys check him out. Mm-hmm. Book him, and by book him, that means let the man know that you got some paper for him, so you can get that invoice. And then also to your artists, don't be afraid to negotiate. Don't be afraid to barter. Speaking of this, how important is it because a lot of artists, what I find sometimes is, especially the upcoming artists, they're afraid to ask for things they can't afford. Mm-hmm. And not in the sense that they're not willing to work for it or barter for it, but they may not even know that there's that there's an option, you know, to do. They may have something of value that they can offer. Sdot Pdot, you know, is bartering in this business something good or something that you would recommend to artists that may not be able to afford the top tier thing. You know, maybe they can only get to the dollar menu, you know, not that the videos are going to be $1, but we talking about just levels to this.
Well, you know, it all goes back to me genuinely being interested in what the artist is creating. So, you know, if you're an artist out there creating and you come to me and you like, well, I need XXX done, and I'm like, well, this is going to be $$. Okay, you don't have that? Well, then we can get you something done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It may not be everything you want done, but we can get you something done. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm generally interested in seeing and creating with an artist. Because every time I create with an artist, I take a piece of them. You know what I'm saying? So the more the merrier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I don't make a ton off of you, I still made something off of you because I'm taking a piece of your creative process, a piece of your vision. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm using that to evolve our next operation on what we're working on. So, you know, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to reach out to somebody like myself and let them know you got a budget. All budgets are welcome. We can always talk about it. It's always a conversation. I'm always open. I don't have an ego to the point where it's like, nah, I can't work with people. I'm always willing to work, man. I'm always willing to work. And that's just myself, I'm here for the culture, man. You know what I'm saying? And working with people like you makes me want to be here even more for the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So whatever we can do to big up each other, let's get it done.
And one more, because I got to give it up to the photographers, because I want the photographers to, again, because this is a space where, again, you guys don't see these interviews with, you know, some of the people that you work with locally, or you don't see a podcast that, you know, where do the photographers go to learn things, or to meet the photographers from their own neighborhood? Where do they go to learn and do these things? This is why we do this, to have these spaces. So I want to make sure that I'm bigging them up and giving them the opportunity too. I'm trying to think of things that they would ask, you know.
Right.
So being for photographers, what are some of the ways that they can monetize in this day and age that you've got social media, you've got everything's digital, you know, you got a lot of these different avenues now to where they weren't available, you know, because again, kids may not necessarily think about this, but the internet's not that old. It's old, you know, because it's been here for a minute, but in this way that we know the internet, this internet that we know, hasn't been here for that long. Hip hop hasn't been here for that long. So being all these different opportunities for photographers to get out and monetize and work and actually make a living off of this, because I mean, once they follow you and they'll know that, okay, this man is successful, you know, and he's going to another level.
It's what they're looking for, what they need. You can reach out to your other local artists and find out what you need, but you know, you also need to be constantly improving yourself, because there's no better marketing than seeing growth.
Right.
That's what it is. You know, don't hoard your projects. Get your project in, get it off, learn from it, and move on to the next project. Now, don't rush your project, but just make sure you get it out on the floor so that people see you trying to grow and develop. People want to work with you when they see you developing. You know what I'm saying? They know you're working on your craft. So it's more of an opportunity for them to get in with somebody that they know is putting in work, you know, as opposed to somebody who was just stagnant and they only put out a project every 6 months.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those are a couple opportunities that I always try to take advantage of. Craigslist, and then growth and development, always. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what's something that, like a rare known fact about Sdot Pdot? You know, what's something that a lot of people are that they don't know about Sdot Pdot? You know, can Sdot Pdot fly? And people just don't know about that. You know,
I can't fly, but I can hover. Most people know I hover.
See? All
Most
right.
people can know I hover. But let's see. A lot of people probably don't know that I got a Rough Rider tattoo when I was 16, my first tattoo.
Wow.
Double R, baby.
Right.
Shout out X. Shout out Rough Riders, which was all when I lived in New York. I would see Rough Riders come down on the wheeling through Harlem all the way down Fifth Ave. So
Yo, Sdot definitely looked like he came from Yonkers and on a bike, you know what I mean? Like
people don't know I got the double R right here for life. I'm branded for life. So and that's a passion, you know. It's a passion.
And you know what, that comes through in a lot of your work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I can see how that correlates, you know, as far as the grit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the griminess,
Mm-hmm.
the raw,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I hadn't seen any raw or just grit and just grimy videos like Rough Riders.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't saw that since like Wu-Tang.
Mm-hmm.
When Wu-Tang came out, I was scared to go to New York. I was like, nah, I ain't going to New York. If it's anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I just knew I was going to get robbed the day I went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't saw that until Rough Riders,
Right.
you know, and then after that, I was like, okay, I still haven't seen that
Right.
again, you know, but seeing your photography, seeing your videos, like just the way it's shot, the language of the videos and whatnot. There's a language, you know, to videos in that, or even photography. And then to me, in my mind, that's how it makes sense. It kind of looks like in that same realm, in that same vein. So
I'm always street level, man. I'm in the street like hooker's feet. You know what I'm saying? I'm always surfacing on that. You catch me in, and I don't even know why I do this because it's very it can be very touch and go. But you know, I walk in some of the grittiest venues to shoot artists, and you know, I got $3,000 on my back. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? People see that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always street level. I always want to be gritty, and I think that's where I think on that level is where it's most honest. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's most. It's a place where I feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I feel comfortable. I feel out of place. I feel out of place in the office.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel corporate life ain't for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather lace my boots up and get out there and get dirty. My boots got stains on them. My jeans got stains on them right now. I don't even know how many weeks. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you can always catch me in the streets, man. And my work is going to show that I'm out there in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
And last but not least, of course, we are in the 256 in the Rocket City.
Hey.
Huntsville being one of the places that was voted as one of the top 3 places to move. There's California's like Huntsville's cousin. Mm-hmm. So that's like our cousin. When we go to the family reunions or Thanksgiving and Christmas and we see that cousin, that's California.
Mm-hmm.
You know, New York's also got like a relation. Baltimore also has a huge relation. I'm meeting a lot of people from the DMV lately, and I'm just like, they've all got this lineage, so to speak, like with Huntsville. So with all the different, Huntsville's changing. There's a lot of things that are changing. There's a lot of things that are going for the great. There's a lot of things that are, still got some opportunities, but there's a lot of opportunities here, and I don't think a lot of people realize what's going on and how big Huntsville is growing. There's money coming to Huntsville, there's art coming to Huntsville, creativity coming to Huntsville, and so I think now is a great time to be in Huntsville if you're not already, and take advantage of the things that are here. But from your vantage point, from your street view, what do you see is a good thing or just something great about Huntsville? Just your thoughts.
I mean, 10 years ago, there was no art programs. There was no conservatories. There was no Low Mill. Low Mill is one of the places that's really embraced art and the culture. So I see a lot of things happening with that, growing. I see a lot of people where was we at the other night? What was the show at? Sidetracks, places like that, allowing artists in, allowing especially hip hop. Now 10 years ago, you always find a rock band in Huntsville, but nobody ever wanted to take a risk on hip hop, and that's because hip hop in Huntsville is evolving. It's not like this ain't the green room days no more. Ain't nobody getting, we're not a community of artists that are out trying to shoot up the place no more.
Saying
Those people are either
721
dead and
Groove
gone
Monkey and-
or they moved on. So we have a fresh new look in Huntsville. And
Yeah.
people are starting to see that we're just here to make music. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to shout out tmill, shout out people like A Twist, shout out people like my man Holloway. People like that are people you want to connect with, because these are people that are doing it, and they're not doing it in a way that's going to harm our standing with the city, which is going to help us all grow within the city and bring a more respectable tone to what we're trying to create here. You know what I'm saying?
Let me give you a good example, because you brought up a point that made me think about something. Cody G. Well, let me rewind a little bit. There's a lot of artists here. There's a lot of indie artists here. There's a lot of upcoming producers. There's a lot of upcoming performers, dancers, singers, videographers. There's a music industry bubbling in Huntsville and the Rock City. Always has been. But as of late, there's a lot going on as far as urban music. And Cody G got together and partnered up with a whole lot of people, a lot of great people. And the last year, he had the music symposium. It was called something else, but it was a music symposium to bring artists, creatives, and collectors together. He had Julian Mitchell from Forbes magazine. He helped build Revolt and the creative stuff behind that. Great mind, and he had a lot of creatives on the panel to teach and give artists a chance to be in the same room with some of these people that can answer your questions about how to be successful. Last year, it was a good handful of artists, a lot of great artists that came out, but I was looking around like, man, where are all these artists that are trying to make it? And these are the artists that are really trying to make it. And there's a couple that probably couldn't make it. I understand that, I get it. But it was on a Saturday, and it was the day of the Alabama football game. Now y'all see what I'm wearing, all right?
Hey.
But this is an opportunity. I can't go back and see this symposium. It's not going to re-air. I can only experience this one time. I've only got one chance to talk to Julian Mitchell. I've only got one chance to meet Kick and Flavor and the people behind that. I've only got one chance to do that. I can wait on the Alabama game. It'll be all right. All right. And then while I'm in there, I can check the stats on my phone and see what's going on in the game, and I can watch it because I got the app. But this year, same thing. It's another great music symposium. They had it down in Florence, the music, great music capital in Alabama, down in the Muscle Shoals. A lot of great history. Fame Music Studios is down there. There's so many great people that showed up to this. Music Queen from Nashville, talking to artists about music publishing and licensing, and just another opportunity that we don't necessarily see. These things happen in New York and Atlanta and California all the time. They happen like every day, like running water. These are just natural occurrences for them. But for us in Huntsville and in the Rocket City, these things don't happen all the time. Not for us, like urban music or just creatives. So I say all that to say, I would like to see more artists get out to these different things at the Low Mill, at the Sidetracks Music Hall, the Maitland Conservatory. Come out to these events and get from behind your computer screen or I'm saying computer screen, I'm showing my age. Behind your phone, get out your house, and some of the normal places that you go. Go meet people that you haven't met before and network, build with them, grow, get to know them, and become friends with them. Because again, that's gonna invest and build your career a lot better than what it is now. So.
Yeah, even if you just show up for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if you just got 15 minutes to show up and just dap, kiss babies, and throw some hugs out there, it's going to be much appreciated by the people that's putting on the event, because they know all their hard work has been worth it. It hadn't been a waste of time, and also the community is going to see you out there.
Absolutely.
You know
Shout
what I'm
out
saying?
to Jew Boy. Jew Boy is famous for that. Jew Boy run around like a politician.
Hey.
He be in there for 5 minutes, shake hands, and then he out. He be at 12 events all day long.
He
gonna
Jew
meet
Boy.
everybody.
I seen Jew Boy. I seen Jew Boy.
He gonna be everywhere, but he ain't gonna stay too long.
Right.
But he gonna meet everybody. He gonna make his presence known. He gonna meet people. He gonna invest, talk to people, get to know people, make friends, and then he out. Like he be like a politician. I'm telling you, he's great.
Bring the vibe, man. Bring the vibe. So
absolutely.
Chris, if you out there still, man, listening. Catch me at the the AL.com Classic. I'll be on the sideline shooting for the paper. So if you're at any of those games next week, I think it's at Grissom.
Yep.
Classics at Grissom this year. If you're at any of those games, you see me with a camera, y'all come throw me some dap, show me some love, maybe buy me a Chick-fil-A sandwich or something. And,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be out there, man. I'm gonna be out there with the city. So I would love to connect with y'all and meet you and shake your hand and say thank you for supporting me.
Absolutely, you guys. So again, this is another episode of In Tune with T-Mill. We're here with my man Sdot.Pdot.media. Shout out to your social media again for people to find you, your website.
At sdotpdotmedia. Sdot.Pdot.media all the way through and through. Look me up. I'm out there.
I feel like Jay-Z should throw you a check or something. You know, do a collaboration at least and let you, do a
Ho
or something.
Ho.
All right.
Hey, shout out T-Mill. Thanks for having me, man. For real.
Man, thank you.
Like I said, you always just supporting me. You always show me love. You always have me in. From our first conversation, it was always we always had a great rapport. So shout out to you, man. I appreciate you having me out, man. It's love.
Again, I appreciate you. Anytime I've had any questions and learning different things.
Absolutely.
And trying to keep up. You've always been, you're continuing to be a teacher, and without you doing and people doing what you do, without y'all being creative, I don't got a job. So you got to keep doing what you do so I can have a job. You can't stop.
We not hogging the info, man. We not hogging the info. We want to give it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I need to talk to more people.
People need it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been fortunate enough to have some mentors, some people that shot me game. So I need to shoot game back out there, man. Game is game.
Absolutely. Game recognized game.
Game is game.
All right. In Tune with T-Mill is powered by and recorded live at the Maitland Conservatory, which is a community-based contemporary arts education entity designed to give students hands-on training and experience in areas such as music production, contemporary instrumental training, vocal coaching, leadership, and much more. You can call or visit them today at themaitlandconservatory.org. And this episode of In Tune with T-Mill is produced by Shyne Enterprises. For more episodes and behind the scenes, make sure you guys subscribe, share, comment, wherever you listen to podcasts, whatever your favorite app is. I'm not going to be picky and tell you which you want to go to. Just go to your favorite app, wherever you spend the most time at, wherever you lose track of time at. Just go look for In Tune with T-Mill. We're all over the place. Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, TuneIn, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, wherever. We try to be wherever we at. Now, if you go somewhere and we not there, let me know, and we'll get it hooked up for you. All right. Right. All right. And shout out to my homegirl Sinclair. I make a joke because in the background, if you go back and listen to the last few episodes, Sinclair's working on a music video and she's working on the dance music. You can hear the music in the background.
Hey,
the episodes.
Can we get some send-off music? Can we get some send-off music?
We got to get something. I got Dizzy D was supposed to email me something, so I'm gonna put that in there.
Yeah. Give us something. Give us something to rock to on the way out.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna run it back to
give me some
the intro music.
Yeah. Just let me bop with it.